What is up, my friends?
Welcome back to the My Friend and I podcast. This is an exciting one today.
Come on, you made it. Come on to another episode. Come on. Why is it so exciting? What's going on?
Well, we are celebrating our
1 year of the podcast.
Yeah.
Come on. You guys have journeyed with us for this 1 year, and we're just so thankful for all the listeners and viewers that we've had this last year. Yes, it is just once a month, but it's once a month that we are always excited for because we get to be in community together and talk through, some fun topics, some deep topics, but we're just so thankful for all the support and every amount that you guys are giving us. So today it's a little special though. This is obviously we're not in our regular couch. What's going on?
We are on stools.
Yeah, what's going on, Rachel?
Well, we are going to celebrate in a fun way. We are going to look back at all the fun episodes and all of the silly episodes and everything that we've talked about and do a little montage moment.
Yeah, come on. Just so we can celebrate 1 year. And so, without further ado,
sit back,
relax,
and enjoy the podcast.
All right, transition. Everybody give me a transition. Transition. All right. Transition. Here we are.
I didn't know what to do in that moment.
It's okay. Transition. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Rachel. Welcome back. We made it to May. We are here in May. Oh my goodness, this is super exciting. So,
who are you, Tim?
I just want to put a disclaimer out there. As you can tell, me and Rachel are a very unique duo here.
Chaos.
You will find out very soon why this was a bad idea to start this podcast between me and Rachel. But we love humor, and we love joking around. We love laughing.
We love Jesus.
For the joy of the Lord is our strength. Come on now. Who can give me an amen in the comments? So we love laughing on this podcast, as do most podcasts out there. And friends, if my hair starts coming out of the store,
Don't tell him.
Don't tell me,
Leave
leave it in the comments so I can check it out later. You know what I'm
Make
saying?
it into memes.
We're having lunch.
Yeah.
It was me, Grace, and Kenzie and Joy. I think it was. Friends of Grace. And here you come with Molly and Hannah. I think
my
it was.
roommates.
Yeah, and first time I met you guys. You guys come. You guys sit down. You guys join. Rachel was the most awkward person in the circle. She would say.
Not much has changed.
She would say like 3 words, and it would be like, and then just. Just silence.
I sound like the fish from SpongeBob.
Or you sound like or you sound like
a
those characters from Spy Kids.
The thumbs.
Not the thumbs. The first one where the doctor like mashes their face and turns like people into.
Isn't
monsters.
that a thumb?
No, they're no. The thumb is like an actual thumb. Rachel, it's in the name. The thumb.
Anyway,
so she would go and then just quiet, and I'm just like, yo, what is it? But
I'm crying.
the one time you actually were able to hold a conversation during that time was when we talked about none other than Super Smash Bros. Yo, she was on that, dude. Yo,
So dumb.
Rachel,
So
tell us
nerdy.
your Super Smash obsession here. What's going on?
Okay,
Why?
I don't even have an obsession. I used to.
she
I was in a
literally
club.
came in
I was
and
in a club.
she was like, yo, I'm looking to play some Smash Bros.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, there's a club
It was.
on
I
campus.
needed to find my people.
It's like you're like Smash Bros. People.
I was like, he looked like he could play Super Smash Bros.
You thought I would play, bro? I was like, yo, there's a club, and she was like, oh yeah, yo, I gotta check that out.
I never joined the
I
club.
never joined the club.
I didn't find my people.
And so here she is talking about Super Smash Bros. And then literally like 3 months. Oh, and then I come to find that she's like also an art major.
Yeah.
So, like,
You didn't learn that.
No.
Super
So
Smash.
now I'm like, oh, she's taking classes with Grace, and she's an
Yeah.
art major, and she plays Super Smash Bros. Get this. 2 months later, Grayson invites me out, and she's like, yo, you should come out because Rachel's church is hosting a worship event. I'm like, oh, sweet. So we're like carpooling with Rachel. She's like, no, Rachel's singing. And I'm like, What do you mean? She's singing. I thought she was into art and Super Smash Bros. He's like, yeah, well, she's a worship leader too. So I'm like, oh, what? This girl. So we go out and then we do a bunch of worship and yeah, Rachel absolutely killed it. As you guys heard before.
Oh, thanks. Now we sing together.
Now we sing together, you know, periodically from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So we've come up with an acronym of sorts, if you will.
That's wonderful. We're gonna make T-shirts.
Yeah, we're gonna make T-shirts, y'all. Merch. Merch is on the way, I guess. We just started, but no. And the acronym is EDL. Yes. Let me say it again. EDL. EDL. That just came out. I'm sorry. It's an EDL. EDL.
Yeah.
EETL. What does that stand for? It stands for engage.
Mm-hmm.
No, encourage.
Encourage.
Engage, teach, and learn. Okay, so this is what happened, y'all. All right, story time with Tim. Okay, so she texted me. All right, this is like maybe like a week, like 2 weeks ago, maybe. And we were supposed to record this podcast a couple weeks ago, and she goes, "Tim, I fractured my wrist," and I said, "What? No, what is going on?" I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And she sends me a picture of her hands, you know, wrapped, or her hand wrapped.
Yeah.
And I said, "What happened?" And she said, "Ceramics." And I said, I'm like, I didn't know ceramics was so hardcore. I mean, what did you do? And I only assumed that like something fell on your wrist or something.
No,
But
I just wedged it.
show the people your
See,
wrist.
it's
Not
fine now.
not fractured. No, she said fractured, but what?
Well, and then I said sprained,
And then she said sprained.
and then you were like, "That's not the same."
That's
thing.
not the same thing. And she's like, oh. I mean, should we tell them about our Duluth trip?
Oh my gosh. Okay. In my defense,
Oh, so if it ever starts with in my defense, it's probably gonna be pretty good.
I didn't know that it was daylight savings. Thus, I thought we had an extra hour to like be in the sun. But no.
There was no sun to begin with, Rachel.
It's true, it was a cloudy day. So basically what happened was so Tim's wife is a photographer.
Yes.
She's the best
Yes.
photographer.
Yes. If you're in
And
the area.
yeah, look her up. She's great. But I'm also trying to like learn photography, so I was like, we should go to Duluth, take some pictures by Lake Superior, and just make a road trip out of it. And then we went, but it was like really cloudy, and Matthew and I were kind of late, and
Yes. Yeah.
and we ended up getting there when it was like pitch black. And then we just
by the time we got up there, it was like 4:30, but it was already pitch black. And I'm like, well, this is great. And that not only that, it was so windy.
it was cold.
It was cold.
windy.
It was windy. It was not a good time.
No, and then we ate food.
And now, guys, remember, Rachel hyped it up the whole time. We went up.
It was just dark and windy.
And the whole time, me and Matthew are like, this isn't good. This is not good. But we did it anyways. And yeah, I've always thought like happiness. Happiness is always temporary.
Yeah.
And it happens, like you said, like in moments.
Yeah.
But I feel like joy is like more of a state of being.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like happiness comes and goes because you can be happy and then all of a sudden you're sad.
Yeah.
But then like when you're in joy, it's almost like you're in a state of joy rather than
Yeah.
it feel like you don't really. It's not really a feeling, right? You can feel happy. I mean, yes, you can feel joy, but when you say it, it comes from a different context. It's almost like you're living in joy rather than, than just feeling what is an emotion, right? Like
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's kind of cool. That joy. I mean, you can be happy and be joyful at the same time.
Yeah.
Now my question is like, can you be joyful, but also sad?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, it could honestly just be no, guys. I mean, let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Just no.
It could just be like, no, Tim, no.
Yeah.
Or if like being like an extrovert or an introvert kind of
Oh,
kind of
interesting.
affects that too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because like as an extrovert, you kind of draw energy from other people, right? As an introvert,
Which is funny because I don't think I'm an extrovert. think that was a lie.
I mean, have you seen me? You know, I guys, I love hunting, but if you see me in a tree stand, I'm like so
I'd be an awful hunter. Yeah, we're
right
on
on screens all the time. You know, we go to school. There's technology. We're on laptops.
Which I think is funny because we're like visual people, and yet, like, if I get a hold of someone, I'm just gonna text them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Which I hate, and people know that about me. Is like, okay, general announcement. Okay, just call me. I hate texting. Okay, because I am just like like my mouth will like work slower than my thoughts, and so when I text you, you're gonna get like a paragraph. But if I talk to you in person, you're gonna get maybe like a little sentence, because I'll just mumble on, and then you'll be like, "What is she saying to me right now?"
She starts with, "Hey, Tim, how you doing?" and then ends up talking about giraffe and a hippo.
What?
You know, eating scallops on the beach side, and then her main
It's
point was,
always the
"Can you
giraffe.
go to the gas station with me?" But it's just a whole mumble. You have to like translate everything you're saying.
No, but I was reading it, and then I was like just laying there, and I was reading, and then I like looked at like the page I was on, and I was on like 180 something pages.
But you just started like,
Yeah, but I started the night, and then I was like,
folks.
oh my gosh, I just read a lot of this book, and then I was like, oh no, what time is it? And I looked at my phone, 3:30 in the morning. 3:30, Tim. Okay, if you guys don't know me, my bedtime is
It's
9:30
p.m.,
It's
yeah.
like 9:30.
Yeah.
I was shooketh.
Wow. Well, how far in the book was that?
It was like a little more than half.
Holy
Yeah, it was a thick
smokes.
book. But I was like, and then in the morning I was a mess.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can imagine.
Yeah, but
I can
it was
imagine.
insane.
But I mean, it's a good book though. Did you finish it?
No, I gave up. I don't even know.
She said,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
even know
I'm
who
gonna
did it."
finish. I'm gonna read halfway and just not one sitting. That's amazing. That's great. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
anyway.
We have one right after that one though.
We had one right after.
Yeah, it's getting
Oh,
better
cool.
at talking to new people,
Yes,
because I remember being the person in the corner.
that's a good one.
Oh man, that's a big step though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember, so when growing up, I was like, you might look at me and be like, yo, Tim, he's so talkative. I am really talkative.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I was younger, it was so hard for me to make friends because I was just kind of like crazy. I'm definitely ADHD,
What?
but like it was way crazy when I was young. Like I'm talking like I
Yeah.
would be the kid that doesn't sit down in class and I'm like on the side of my
Fidgeting,
desk.
tapping.
No, like I'm like standing at the side of my
You're
desk.
just standing there,
rocking.
like in the corner.
No, like in the middle of the class.
Oh,
I'm just standing up
really?
and I'm standing at the side of my desk and I'm just like rocking back and forth
Are you-
because I was crazy. Like my energy level was insane,
Oh,
and
wow.
I didn't think nothing of it. But I really did like. No one really became.
I'm just like picturing like small Tim, like in the center of a classroom, just
and
rocking.
honestly though, I was really small. Like I wasn't. I didn't pass 5 feet until I was probably like 13.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
4'9" in 5th grade.
Oh,
And then in 6th grade, I bumped to 5'1".
wow.
It was a huge growth spurt for me.
That's good.
Yeah, it was huge. But
I think you're taller than I am.
I'm 5'9" now,
Yeah, you're taller than I am.
if you were wondering.
Yep.
But I was that kid in the corner. No one really wanted to be friends with me, but
Because you stood up in the
But-
middle of the classroom.
I was I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Oh,
But,
you just wanted a friend.
But honestly, like I had some friends,
Mhm.
but I was never the one to kind of like approach anybody because I
It's
just
the approach that's hard.
yeah, you know. And
Yep.
so I made a decision my senior year. It took me so long, but senior
Your
year of
senior-
high school.
Really?
Yeah, and I decided to take a step out, and man, it was the best year of high school of
Aw.
all my, well, I guess of my,
Mhm.
you know, what was it called? Grade
School
school
career.
grade school education.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, it was really
And now
fun.
you're like a leader.
I'm a leader.
Which is-
It's
that's
weird,
awesome.
isn't it whack? Right? Yeah, it's wackadoo.
Wow, that's awesome.
so-
And now you're standing still
And
in
now
front of
I'm
people,
Yes,
but worshiping.
but worship and not by a desk. So, take a step if you are that person. You know,
Are you the kid by the
yeah,
desk?
If you're that person,
Approach your friends.
Approach your friends, make some friends.
Okay, so I have ADHD and I had to
She
like
has-
sit.
I have ADHD.
Yeah, this is chaos on this couch sometimes. But we where was I going? I lost my train of thought.
There it is. I was counting in my head. I was like 10, 9. There it is.
Oh, prison letters.
Yes, prison.
I was
One of the funny moments that happened was actually on the dance floor. When, so
love
I
the
would.
dance
So
floor.
guys, truth be told, this might be TMI. I'm a big guy that sweats a lot. Okay, I sweat
I
a
thought
lot.
you were just gonna say I'm a big guy.
No, I mean
I was like,
that
damn, that's
that too, that too. But I sweat a ton. So during the dance, the main dance floor, when we opened it up to everybody, we were cranking to Journey, and we have this on video. I'm not even joking. My back was so sweaty. Okay, I'm two layers, right? I have the undershirt and then my button up shirt.
I was so bad
I-
for, like the guys. They have to wear so much like layers.
I was so sweaty, and I was doing an air guitar.
Oh,
And I was
as
making
you-
my
yeah.
I was making my way down, and I landed on my back, right? And then when I got up, there was a sweat body print,
You probably could have like slid.
but there was a sweat body print, like it's like those chalk bodies, but it's just sweat. It was just a straight sweat. Yeah, it was nasty. And
I didn't see it.
Grace's sister-in-law Dewey pointed at it. And
Oh my gosh.
It was all caught on video too.
It-
My
That's
dad was like
funny.
videoing the whole thing, so
Yeah.
that's my favorite thing to look
I
back
love
on.
that your dad was just vibing through the dance floor.
yeah,
Like,
do you
filming.
remember that?
Yeah,
you
'cause
did. I don't
I'm
remember
in
a
part
piece
the
of that.
video, like a part, like a little chunk of the video.
I was so like far gone in the dance. I had no idea he was doing that at all. And
so
he
fun. Mm-hmm.
came up to my face like 2 times, and I did not even know.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like gone in the hype of the music.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's something
Yeah.
funny that happened
And
at
then
the
there's
wedding.
pizza. If you live in Minnesota, this is just a statement to you. Don't go to the Boundary Waters in June or July.
Seriously.
Just don't. Don't do it to yourself, okay? I don't think I've ever been more miserable with mosquitoes in my entire life.
it was
They're
horrible.
like, I think they're from hell. I think that like Eve ate the fruit and then God was like, mosquitoes. Like he was like, let's sprinkle a little bit of like some spice in there, okay? Because
make life spicy.
yeah, I don't know, man. They're not God's creatures. Those
And-
mosquitoes.
Especially don't bring your dog if you go then.
No, and then they
'Cause-
brought Cody.
Yeah. So
and
we
she
had
was
just
miserable.
it was so bad. We had just gotten
We
her
just,
like a
like,
few
cried.
months before. And I'm like, oh, we're gonna take our dog. It's gonna be so cute. We're gonna camp. When the mosquitoes were biting her nipples, I think I like saw red. I was
We were, like,
so
crying.
upset.
We were crying. It was like
They were swarming her, and
were
I was
swarming
so
her.
upset. So I don't think she'll be coming
the
next
only
time.
safe places were when we were in the canoes,
And you were
Or
paddling,
in-
like if
or
you're
in the
going
tent.
in the canoe,
unless you
yeah.
were stopped, and then they would they would know.
they would catch you.
They would know that you're stopped. Or if you were swimming, you could like dunk and like come back. It was just okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, go in August, September, maybe early September. Just
Go to
Don't
the
do
Boundary
it.
Waters.
Don't
It's
do it.
awesome.
it's good. We went in August our first trip.
Yeah,
was
Beautiful,
it was
so fun.
beautiful.
But
Not
don't-
mosquito.
Not
season.
mosquito season. It's just it's not the move.
But today, Rachel,
Yes,
we're
Simba.
talking about worship language. Oh,
We got a snore over
we're
here.
gonna store over there. Worship language. But Rachel, what do you think about that? I would love to hear your answer. Like, do you think that there's such thing as good gossip?
I think there is such thing as good gossip because I think in all the definitions that I read about gossip, it was all just talking about someone behind their back. And I think that often we put that into like the category of like it has to be negative. But I think that there are good things that could come out of gossip if you're doing it in a not harmful or like negative way. Because like me going to you and talking about how wonderful your wife is, that's me not saying it to Graceland. So technically it would be behind her back.
Right. So then
Did
it
you
would
think-
be. So then it would be technically, or
Yes.
would it be technically be gossip? Because
Yes.
I've also
which is
Right.
I don't know.
Right. We don't know because then you have to ask yourself, well, then wouldn't it just be considered praise?
Oh yeah, praise. Yeah.
Praise for somebody, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's like, yeah. I mean, to kind of go back, and what I would say is I don't know, but I think I'm leaning towards like no, like there isn't such thing as good gossip because
Yeah.
I think that there's
I get
other,
what you're saying.
yeah, because not necessarily because that that like there isn't something good that can be said behind something somebody's back, right?
Yeah.
But it's more like there should be another word for that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I don't know.
I like
mean,
that you said praise. I think that's a good word. For
yeah, because like I don't know when the word gossip itself,
Mm-hmm.
came into existence, and I don't know if it was created, to express the negativity of talking badly about someone behind their back.
Yeah.
Right. And it was it created for that fact? If you know, put in the comments, was gossip created to describe the act of speaking badly about somebody, not necessarily good? And if that's the case, then no, there wouldn't be any. There is no such thing as good gossip because
Yeah.
gossip is bad. Like but it's funny because the definition that you had said usually,
And mostly all of them said usually.
which is so weird. So I'm
Yeah.
like, so then is gossip, the word gossip, the negativity that we have towards it, is it just a societal concept that we put on it?
Yeah.
Or is it actually, a word that means that it is negative,
Yes.
And here's the thing, guys, right? We have to be honest here. When we gossip, right, it's putting someone beneath ourselves,
Yeah.
which we are not called to.
Yeah.
Right. We're called to be to humble ourselves before others, right?
Yeah.
But when we gossip, what we're doing is we're bringing someone and putting them underneath us. And so what does that do for us is that it makes us feel good about ourselves, which is scary because the enemy knows that and can use that,
Yeah.
right? And so gossip, being that it can happen so frequently without even trying, is probably one of the biggest tools that the enemy uses. Not the only tool, obviously, we all know that, but it's probably one of the most frequent spiritual battles we can have within ourselves and our sin nature is the urge to gossip.
The words we're saying.
Because it feels good afterwards. You're like, oh man,
You
it
feel
feels
like this
good.
release.
It feels good to get that off my chest.
Yeah.
And so it's just another battle that we all kind of have to, be cognizant of and really be thinking of
Yeah.
whenever we're into those situations.
Something that I found too was when you're speaking, because we're talking about like speaking now and talking.
Yeah.
When we speak, we should run our words through Christ's filter before we speak them.
That's good.
And I think that's interesting too, because even when we talked about prayer, we talked about how we often bring our prayers to the community around us before we bring them to Christ.
Oh.
And I think that it's the same thing with words. Like
Ooh.
before we gossip and before we talk to others about other people, like, are we talking to Christ more about this person?
Ooh, that is good.
And I think that honestly, like, would we put gossip in the same category if you're like saying it to Christ? Are you gossiping about someone to Christ?
Ooh.
Because I think it all comes down to like what we were saying, like the intentions behind it. Because I could be like, oh, God, this person is so obnoxious. Like, I cannot stand to take another day with them. Like, okay. Or we can be like, God, like, change my heart and change the way that I view this person because I want to view them the same as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like teach me how to do that.
Yeah, help me to love
Help
this
me
person.
to love this person like you. And even Paul writes in Colossians, he says, walk in wisdom towards outsiders, making the best use of the time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person.
That's good. Paul,
Yeah.
man. What a
Paul,
legend.
what a guy.
What a legend, man.
What a
What
guy.
a legend. Yeah, very cool. Something that I like what Paul says here is says, let your speech be gracious, but also seasoned with salt. Which I think is so cool because
Yep.
you put salt on something to make it taste better.
Yeah.
So if it has nothing to add to the conversation,
Yes.
if it has nothing to make something better,
Yeah.
don't say it at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like that's good because obviously like salt comes up a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's that idea that you put some salt on something, it's gonna become a lot better. It's gonna
Yeah.
taste better. It's gonna it draws out moisture so bacteria doesn't grow. You make something better.
Yeah.
And so I love that Paul is straightforward. He says, be gracious, be seasoned with salt, You know, so don't. So if it doesn't add anything, don't say it, so that you may know how to answer each person.
Yeah.
Which is I think is cool. Like you just because you are able to speak graciously and seasoned with one person doesn't mean you can't do the same thing for another person.
Yeah.
Just because you may not know them or maybe maybe you're not as close to them in this, but it's more of like a stylistic choice or a lifestyle
Yep.
to live graciously and seasoned with salt rather than I get to pick and choose. Right?
Yeah.
So Paul is straight fire. He's always straight fire.
The best.
So good. But yeah, guys. So speak graciously.
Yeah.
And if it's seasoned with salt. So if it doesn't add to anything, then probably don't say it.
Yeah.
Probably don't say it. And our backyard is a mess right now. So we finally have a date on the, I think it's like happening the 3rd week of May or something like that. But they're going to come in, tear it up, and then we're going to put in some sod, make a patio, bonfire.
Are you gonna do a pizza oven?
No pizza oven. No pizza oven.
What?
I know. That would be dope though.
Lame.
But the question is, do I want to be that guy?
Yes.
That has a pizza oven.
Because I want to eat pizza from your pizza oven.
Guys, I live in suburban, I'm in the Twin Cities, and so we're basically 2-3 feet, in property, in property lines with our neighbors.
But then you
And
could
it's
be
just
making pizza and be like, homies, come to pizza.
Like, can you imagine though? It's like grass, and then pizza oven, grass. I don't know.
Like the brick ones, like in.
The big ones are dope. I've seen people build those,
Yeah.
and it's pretty dope.
They're so cool.
But
I need to get one.
I don't know. But we are gonna put a bonfire patio back there. So
Are you gonna do a swimming pool?
but how about you, Rachel? What's new?
Not a lot. I don't know. I graduate in less than a month.
Yo, shout out to all those who are about to graduate. Come on. You made it just a few more weeks, or maybe you already are graduated. Well, congratulations to you. We can't wait to celebrate with y'all. Put it in the comments. Give us a big smash while you're down there. Smash on the like button. But congratulations to you guys who've completed your, whether it's your undergraduate, your graduate degree, or for maybe for some of you guys, your doctorate, which is huge. It's huge. So congratulations. It's been a journey. You guys deserve though. Hey, ho. If you know where that's from, let's put it down in the comments. What else is new, Rachel? What else is new?
What was that from?
It's from the. No, I'm not gonna say it. If you know where it's from.
I said,
Hey,
oh
ho.
my gosh.
Hey, okay.
I don't know. Not a whole lot.
Rachel, what are we going into
We
today?
are talking about rest. Choo.
We are talking about rest, y'all.
Choo.
Are you sneezing or are you?
That's me snoring.
Oh, I thought you were saying achoo, and I'm like, bless you. Bless you. Oh my gosh! Yes, we're talking about
I'm done.
rest. Yes. What about rest, Rachel?
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes social rest means being with people, and maybe that's for introverts. Or
Introverted
extroverts.
Tim makes me laugh so much because every time I've ever experienced you being introverted, you're always like, you just like sit there on your phone. And like the first time it happened, I thought you were mad at me,
No, I was just out.
but you were just out.
I was
It's funny
zoning.
because he's like if you meet Tim in person, he's like one of the most loud, like outgoing guys. But the second that he needs to be introverted,
I'm
like
like-
he's gone.
I'm like,
He's gone and he just sits there. But the first time that I experienced introverted Tim was you were at my house and we were watching a movie and you were on your phone and you were watching WWE wrestling. On your phone.
Oh.
But it wasn't even, it was just highlights. It was like
highlights.
WWE highlights.
those highlights. Yo,
And I was like, Tim, what are you watching? And you were like, wrestling. And then you just continue to watch it like on the beanbag. And Grayson was like, yeah, he needs a minute.
I grew up watching like WWE SmackDown. I know. For all you Raw fans out there, you guys are like, no, WWE Raw. But I grew up watching like SmackDown, and so when I saw that clip, I was like, oh, I gotta keep watching, and I just was hooked. And you know, like ADHD doesn't help that either, because then you're like hyper focused now, you know, and you're just like.
Did I ever tell you the time where Matthew and I went to?
You just went to a WWE wrestling match?
Straight up. It was so funny because, like, in our heads, we were like, this is going to be so hype. Like, the energy is going to be so high. Like, it's going to be great. And we got these tickets, and we went with some friends, and we get there. And there's just, like, no one speaking. You know how, like, WWE, like, it's all about the conversation.
All you see is just the...
We just saw them wrestling, and then we heard, like, kind of, like, shouts and stuff, but there was, like, no dialogue. And then
there was
the
no
whole time,
commentating
no,
at
there
all?
was no commentary. So we just
Interesting.
watched them fight, and then so we were like, "What is happening?" And it was so confusing.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Hype up, be hype," and we were like, "What?" we were like, "How do we be hype?
For
What's
the
happening?"
TVs, for the TV. Yo,
It was fun.
that's cool. That's cool.
I think like emotional rest is just like not. Well, I liked what you said. We were talking about earlier just what things to talk about during the podcast, and you mentioned like when you think of like resting, you think of like not doing something. But like emotional rest, you were saying like you also could express emotion while emotional resting.
Yeah, for sure. Like, because oftentimes we think rest means not doing anything.
Oh yeah,
But
like stopping.
But I think that emotional rest or mental rest, because I'm gonna hit on emotional rest first, because emotional rest happens after emotions, if that makes sense. So, for example, like crying and allowing the outpour of sadness or grief or whatever it is can allow space or rest to fill in the space that is now empty because you poured it out, right? You have a cup and you pour it. Now now there's nothing in there, so there's nothing for you to worry about anymore, or if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That there's rest that can now fill in the space, because what can often happen, right? And I'm sure all of us have experienced this before. We bottle everything up, right? We bottle, and it creates more frustration, more stress, more anxiety. But the instant that we are able to release all of that, it's just like, it almost feel like it's just quiet. You know, it's just quiet up here, it's quiet here. It's like you don't have anything on your shoulders anymore. And so so I guess emotional rest, at least in my eyes, emotional rest comes through allowing emotions to happen.
Yeah.
And to open up that space for
that-
rest. Edel. I'm
Edel.
pretty sure I switch those two E's around every time. But whichever one it is, you guys know.
You mean the T's?
No, the encourage, engage.
Oh, the L's.
Yeah. No,
You said the E's, I said the T's, but it's the L's.
It's encourage and engage. Teacher, it's the E's. Rachel.
No, there's not. Oh, wait, there is.
Rachel.
So confident. I was so confident. Guys, this is why I'm an art teacher.
I was
and
so
not a
confused.
reading
I was like,
teacher.
I even did a double take. I'm like,
I thought it was Itatul. Or Ital.
like Edel, like kettle.
Edel? Like kettle?
But to encourage, engage, teach, and learn from each other. So, and then other than that, I mean, me and Grace are now pregnant. So, whoa. I didn't know how to bring that up. I didn't want
so,
it to
like,
be
nonchalant.
I know. I didn't want to be like, but yeah. So me and Grace are expecting, which is super exciting. So now we're kind of in a new season of life as well.
Heck yeah.
So for all you young adults who are, or married young adults, married young couples, if you guys are kind of in the same space that we are, we would love to hear from you guys and how you guys are doing and how you're kind of going through this process as well. Whether it's your first child or maybe it's your second child, whatever it may be, we would love to get in touch with you and kind of hear your story and all that good jazz. So send us a message on the Insta. Send it through the Insta, and we would love to have a chat. Super cool. But other than that, I'm just chilling, having a good time.
When Grayson told me when we were in the kitchen, I like did laps around your house.
Yes, you did
I
like
teared
4
up.
laps or something like.
It was a great moment.
It was awesome.
So
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
So
And
fun.
then when Molly got here, you
She
guys-
was here.
Oh yeah. Oh, you
She
guys
was here.
both ran.
We were in the kitchen like cooking dinner and stuff, and then like Grayson was like, and we were like,
Could- What was that? What was that? What? She said, and she.
That's just how. Grayson got it. She
Rachel.
understood what I said.
Yes.
Anyway.
Even though there wasn't much said.
Okay, wait, Tim.
Yes.
Wait, tell them. Okay, we're going back to the Boundary Waters in.
Yes.
When are we going? Like August? I don't know. Anyway.
I think so.
But Grayson's gonna be like what, like 6 months pregnant?
Yes, she will be. She will have a pregnant belly
the
canoeing.
what's gonna happen?
Wait. Do you think that there is a line where it
Yeah.
draws healthy and unhealthy boundaries?
Like one, like a between.
Yeah, or no, is that there is a fine line, or do you think
Oh.
that because you can change boundaries so often?
No.
Can't talk about that.
I think personally, if you set, I think of like a boundary as like a wall. Like when I think boundary, I think of like a wall.
Yeah.
Or like I think of like a castle and like a wall around a castle. And I think you can't have just like a half wall
Mm-hmm.
to protect you from something. And I think a lot of times people will like set a boundary and be like, oh, little half wall, little half door.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you can.
But I think if it's a sometimes, it's not a boundary because it's not protecting you from something.
How many of
regarding-
you need to hear that? Because that's a good
You-
word right
those-
there.
those half-wall
That's a good
boundaries.
word, Rachel. That's a good word. Yeah, because like,
Yeah.
and being that boundaries can change from time to time, or
Yeah.
can change from different seasons of life.
Yeah, and I think even like the boundary, the wall itself can change.
Oh, sure. What do you mean by
Yeah.
that?
Like-
Like if we took your analogy of like a castle wall,
Like
or
a
something.
castle wall. I think that like a castle wall could be made of brick, but then like later in its season, it could change into something different, like a trench,
a trench.
like a boundary, like a trench. I don't know. I'm not great. You're better at these than I am. You're like there's always like a mountain metaphor. Or something.
Yeah. It's like a mountain.
No, I
It
think
crumbles,
that,
but then
I
it
think that
keeps
they
up.
can change in a way where like you can set a boundary. Well, let's talk about the boundaries first. Do you think that like now that you're married, you have talks about like boundaries, or do you think that like because you've been with Grayson so long now that like you don't need to talk about them anymore?
So just like our question that we
Yeah.
had this month, boundaries are always changing.
Yeah.
Because circumstances are always changing.
Yeah.
Like for example, me and Grace had this conversation not that long ago. We're saying that like our boundaries now are gonna change because we are having a baby,
Yeah.
right? And when we have a baby, boundaries are gonna change, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, because our thought process was like, you know, like now we have to manage this boundary between with the boundary, the relational boundary for our baby with their grandparents, with their uncles, with
Yeah.
their aunts, with our friends, you know, and how do we carefully set our boundaries where we can be, you know, responsible parents,
Yeah.
but also give as much life as we can to our baby and
Yeah.
the relations that it has for our family.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's a good question. Boundaries are always continuing to change. So me and Grace are always consistently talking about, you know, what boundaries do we have for us, for our families and friends, for our workplace, all that stuff. So it's always a continuous conversation, which I think should be a
Healthy.
continuous
Yeah, that's
conversation. Because once you kind of like the first question I was asking you,
Yeah.
like if we have a set boundary and we never change that boundary, everything else changes around it, right? So if let's say it's a square, right, and your life is a square at one point in your life, right, but then let's say the next portion of your life you become a rectangle.
Yeah.
Well, now you have this square that kind of fits into your rectangle, but doesn't fully fit the rectangle. So now you're like, well, now this boundary doesn't work efficiently. It does work sometimes, but what that does is it kind of
I'm kind of not there.
yeah, it's okay, but
I don't get it.
my mind is like racing right now. So it's like or it's like you're trying to fit a boundary that's a square into a life that's a circle, and you can't
Yeah,
and
right.
you can't
Yes.
really hang on to that same square boundary because you live a life that's a circle. And at maybe at one point you were a square, but now you're a circle. So how are you gonna change that boundary to shape and
Yeah.
fit with your life, right? In all aspects of your life, relationally, spiritually, physically, all that
Yeah.
good jazz.
Do you have like one in your own? I mean, you don't have to share, but one like in your own like faith journey that like you feel like you have like a good boundary with, that you like, I don't know, like read your Bible like today, like things like things, I don't know, something where you just like put into place to be like very intentional.
Yeah, so I think that even something that we were like something that I really took away from like it was like I don't know if I forget if it was a sermon that I heard or if it was like a book that I read from school, but we talked about how in terms of at least on a spiritual level that there are some boundaries that you have to set for specific people, if that makes sense. So like I have this circle. If you imagine my spiritual journey as a circle, there are smaller circles within that circle that kind of allows me to share certain amounts of intimacy of my spiritual journey with other people.
Yeah.
So for example, like with my like some of my really really close friends that are guys,
Yes.
right? That are guys.
Oh.
I share spiritual
Yes.
things that are different than I would
Yes.
if I was to share with, let's say, my wife or my close friends
Yeah.
that are girls, right?
Yeah.
Because those are just things that make sense, right?
Yeah.
For us to share as guys and not with women. And there are some things where I share with just my wife and not with anybody else, you know. And
That's an important concept that people don't understand.
right. It's and so
like
it's
like not everyone like my mom has always told us like not everyone needs to know everything about you.
exactly.
And if someone is trying so hard to know something, like think about that relationship because like where are they trying to get within the circle that they're not supposed to be in? And like and I think that like and it does come from like loving people. Like I'm not saying there's someone in my life that's like I need to know everything about you because no, like I know that it's like coming from love and stuff, but I think it's important to know that like you don't have to share everything with everyone.
Right.
And there are people and they understand that as
100%.
like as a human, like if your friend doesn't want to share something with you, they don't have to.
yeah, right. 100%.
You don't have to know.
100%. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll just share like a very like it's not. I mean, I'm just gonna generalize it, but I'm not gonna go into any specific
No,
details.
you're good.
But like something that I share with like my closest guy friends is like how to be a man of God,
Yeah.
right? And all the things that go. So like I would share moments where I feel that I failed as a man of God. There's
Yeah.
moments where I feel like I've succeeded as a man of God.
Yeah.
And so, but that's just like a surface level of things that we share as close men.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's something that we don't share with like that I don't necessarily share with like my wife or like my friends that are girls, right?
Grayson, how do you be a man of God?
yeah. It's like, it's just, those are just things that make sense,
Yeah.
right? And so like so that's kind of like an example of like setting a boundary for my spiritual faith.
Yeah.
My spiritual boundaries, like how do I pick and choose, not necessarily pick and choose per se, but how do I appropriately separate different
Yeah.
spiritual parts or different parts of my spiritual journey for specific
Yeah.
people.
When we were at the chicken farm.
My dad has a chicken farm out in
so
Washington,
fun.
y'all.
So fun.
It's pretty dope.
It's the best. There's like what, like 400 chickens?
Yeah, something like that. It's so insane.
And then we went to the farm and we ate chicken. Tim's like, we're gonna go eat chicken and noodles. And then we roll into the chicken farm and the chickens are just watching us. And we're just chowing down on the cousins.
Yes, appropriately so. They don't know what. Yeah,
I feel awful.
My,
It was good though.
so my
It
dad's
was
chicken
so
farm.
good.
So my dad's chicken farm is like on this like plot, like this acre of land, or like
It's
an
so
acre and a
fun.
half of land or something like
It's
that.
beautiful.
And he built like this. I think it's. I would say it's like, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the acre is like just for chickens. And he has like over 200 chickens, and
There's different kinds.
there's
too.
different kinds. So a lot of it
They're
are
so
like
cool.
Thai fighting chicken. There's also like
They're so cool.
there's also like the weird chickens with the afros.
Yeah.
What is that called? I forgot what they're called.
And they're just like
They're just chilling. Yeah, they're just chilling away. And then my dad has a couple ducks, a few ducks, and a few pigeons.
lurking in the chickens.
But man, dude,
It's so fun.
it's so fun out there. It's the most ghetto looking thing you'll ever see in your life.
It's just like
But man,
tarps and you know what it kind of reminded me of?
Huh.
You know, like when you're driving, don't be mad at me.
Oh, no.
This is so cool. It's like when you see like homeless like area, and then there's just like tarps and like wood, and people like build things to like live under. It's okay. It's
she
cooler.
said, you know what's cool? The homeless population.
No, I don't think that's cool. Like, I feel bad. But it's like when you're driving and you see like the tarps and the tents and stuff. Okay, anyway. I'm gonna get like
You can get roasted.
I'm gonna get roasted now for this.
they're like, stop it,
Okay.
Rachel. We're gonna put you in a tent.
No.
Gosh, that's way too funny, dude. Rachel, I'm sorry. Yes.
But Grayson and I had this conversation about boundaries.
About who?
About boundaries and like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
mentorship, I
Yeah,
guess. So the Bible, the Biblioteca.
No,
That's
that's
not
the
that.
That's the.
The library. Okay, it's about time we
She said the biblioteca. And I'm like, that's not it. Nope. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Oh my gosh. Oh jeez. Oh my goodness. That's just. I can't. We're gonna read the word of God, and she goes, and you say from the library. I'm like, I guess. All right. Anyways.
I'm gonna pee.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
good
Here we go.
Lord.
Sorry, folks. I'm a mess right
Proverbs
now.
4.
Zoom in.
Proverbs 4.
Okay. Here we go. I thought you were trying to get something.
He thought I was trying to be funny,
I'm
and
like-
I legit was
our,
about.
our next topic
That's
is
it's about
se-
change.
is about
Seasons
seasons.
changing.
I wasn't thinking that. That was my bad, folks. That was my bad. But Edel.
What? What does that have to do with the question? You can
So,
go through Edel.
no. We
Give
need
us
to go
an
through.
Edel
We need to go
recap.
through Edel before the end of the
Okay.
episode here.
Okay.
Edel, guys, thank you for listening this far into this episode.
Transition.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. All right, Rachel, what is going on? What's new?
Nothing really big.
Nothing big.
I'm
Nothing
kidding,
big,
I'm
Rachel.
kidding.
Come on, give it to us.
I got a job.
Yeah, come on, everybody. Everybody put in hashtag Rachel in the comments.
Just hashtag Rachel.
Just hashtag Rachel. Oh, hashtag Rachel is boss. Come on now. Rachel.
We grew up going up north to my
Ah.
grandparents, and we would watch like the little small town parade and the fireworks
Yeah.
show and all the
That's-
things.
oh, that's cute.
But now we're all old, and
Don't find enjoyment much in that.
well, I do. Like I would love to go
okay.
do that, but it's hard to get all the cousins to want to sit outside
yeah.
and catch candy and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Specifically,
I'm like
catching
they're
it.
like throw me the
Give me
the
the-
nerd clusters.
Give me the candy.
You should give them a lawn update.
Guys, the backyard update with Tim. All right. So
That was like
that was
Batman
my
and
that was
Robin.
my you know how like fancy podcasts they have like those
Fancy podcast.
those transitions, you know those transitions.
Unlike ours, we're not fancy.
No, they have like actual segments and they like use like an actual audio, audio like transition. I'm just like
I think we should forever. We should just record all of the noises you make and let
just
Matthew
all-
like play them back.
it's just all Tim sounds. The transition.
That would be so good.
Yo, that just screams like Comic Sans to me. You know, if it was a font, that would be Comic Sans. Just me going. You know. Anyways, backyard update with Tim. Guys, I mowed. The difference is just insane. So, yeah, backyard is delicious right now. All the dads out
The
there,
hat.
be proud of me. Oh yeah, guys, you guys see
Dad
my hat?
hat.
Matthew, zoom in right there. Boom,
I don't know
dad.
if you can. It's just gonna be your face.
No, I just keep my head straight. Boom. Okay, DAD. I think is that the right?
Yeah.
It's a hat that my wife got me for Father's Day.
Did you just ask if DAD was right for dad?
No. I was saying, am I pointing the right direction? Is it going the right? Is it going this way?
Dad is the
is it
same
this way?
both directions too.
No. No, I mean to read it. To read it. Is it this way? Or is the D, or am I going this way wrong?
No matter what direction you point, it's gonna say dad.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right. But anyways, so DAD. But it's back.
But
Choo
it's
choo.
back. Choo. Whoa. Choo choo.
She said choo. Whoa.
Choo choo.
choo.
It's back.
And now
What's
she's gonna
that
lose
show?
it. We're gonna lose it. Rachel, we're gonna lose
What's
it.
the train? It's like all aboard the choo choo train. You ever watch that?
No.
All aboard choo choo.
Thomas the Train?
No, it's like the chick, and she's like choo choo.
Dino Train? Wait, was that one with the
Choo
dinos?
choo.
All aboard the choo-choo train. All aboard, all aboard.
It's funny because I think the more I say it, it's gonna come, but it doesn't. I just
He's over there.
choo choo.
Choo choo. Can you imagine like your face is just getting more intense because you're just like
Choo choo.
choo 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 choo.
Choo choo.
Oh my goodness. You know, you're karate chopping your way to the what do they call it? The latrine. Look.
The latrine.
The latrine. The latrine.
The latrine.
The latrine. What could that
That
be?
sounds like a villain from like a
I just
Marvel
remembered
movie.
the la and the een. I'm like, what's in the middle?
latrine.
so I took a guess.
Oh my god.
It's a latrine. We just celebrated our second year or 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Come on, so that was that was
Tell them
literally
what you
just
did.
we did a lot.
All right, that was it. That's what they did.
We just
Let's
okay.
talk about the cucumbers.
Yeah. So I was just actually gonna talk to you about that. So I don't know what they're called, but we just call them Hmong cucumbers. It's Asian cucumbers. I don't know
They're
what,
so big.
but they're ginormous.
Can we insert a photo of me
and
with
it's
the cucumber?
and it's not like a regular like cucumber. You know, the dark green. It's like really light green,
Yeah.
but it's like ginormous. It almost looks like a melon.
huge.
Rather than it probably is considered a melon rather than a cucumber, but it
It's the
tastes
size of like a mini watermelon.
yeah, but it tastes like cucumber and it's ginormous and they can get as big as your arm.
They're
It's-
so
I'm not even joking. Like
They're
they can,
so good.
yeah, they can be as small as like a regular cucumber, but they can be as big as your arm. And my stepmom gave Rachel a couple of them just to go back home, and we weren't sure if you could bring it on the airplane. But how did you?
I straight up, guys. I have this like pocket in my bag for like a water bottle, and I took my water bottle out of it, and then I was like, we were like measuring the cucumbers to see which one would fit in that pocket, and like the gigant is huge. This big old cucumber we like shoved in the water bottle pocket of my backpack, and then I just walked into the airport,
and you walked through TSA, right?
and they were like, all right, sure.
That's a giant
Go
cucumber.
for it. And then I just was like on the plane, like I just held it in my arms, like this
Like a
cucumber.
baby.
Matthew was sitting by me, like, why? Why are you?
But then
doing
you
this?
ate that cucumber though when you got home.
No, I didn't eat it.
What? What'd you
that
do?
was the dumb part.
What?
Because we were gonna pickle it,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and then we forgot.
Oh,
about
I
it,
see,
And
I
then
see.
it died.
Section. While you're down there, give us a smash on the like button and subscribe, and also follow us on our Insta. Come on, give us some of your love. We would love to hear from you, because we love Edel. Not 2 T's,
Not 2 L's.
but 2 E's. Encourage, engage, teach, and learn. Come on, people. Let's Edel it up. Give us a hit up on Instagram. We would love to hear from you. And that's also where you can give us any suggestions on worship songs you want to hear on the podcast, but also topic ideas. You can also give us, answer the question of the month. All right, y'all. We'll catch you on the next one.
Goodbye.